Here I have members, the delegates quest of IOFGeneral General Assembly. My special welcome to the Honorary President for Life, Mr. Brian Porches. Welcome, Brian, to our meeting. It's 11 o'clock here in United Kingdom, and the IOFGeneral Assembly is ready to start. Majority of our members are here in Edinburgh at Sprint World Orienteering Championships, but a lot of members are joining us digitally. This General Assembly is an ordinary General Assembly, and our agenda is more traditional compared with last two ordinary General Assemblies. In 2020, we were in the middle of the toughest COVID restrictions, and in 2022, we dealt with consequences of Russian invasion in Ukraine. IOF is a forerunner in international sports organizations' family in implementing and developing good governance standards. Just one example, we set the goal to improve rotation and gender balance in the council more than 10 years ago. And today we can see first 3 results. We have a record number of female nominations, and there will be several seats available in the council because of term limits. And I hope to see the most exciting council elections in IOF history. 2 years ago, we agreed on strategic directions for 2022 to 2026 and approved our route choices. Today, we will vote on adjusted route choices. Why? My short answer is that we need to be flexible and adjust our activities to the reality. One of the key words in our latest discussions has been sustainability. Sustainability has many aspects, and sustainable competition program is vital for IOF. We received only one proposal from our members for General Assembly. Thank you, Czech Orienteering Federation, raising an important topic, future of VOC program. We spent a lot of time on sustainable competition program 2 days ago, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of discussions in the future, but not today. Our goal today is to go through the agenda we sent to you in advance and conduct our General Assembly in professional and positive atmosphere. I wish us a successful General Assembly and declare our General Assembly open. Now we have few practical issues. As you know, we have a partner, our partner Lumi, as last 2 times in 2020 and 2022. And our plan is to confirm how many members actually are present. In this case, it means how many members are logged in. So please, Lumi, give us information.
Thank you very much. So we have 49 delegates currently online in the Lumi platform, and there are 31 votes represented.
Thank you. We have 66 full members with voting rights, and it means 41. It makes a quorum, so we can start our General Assembly. So thank you. And next important issue is to elect our General Assembly Presidium, and here is a proposal. The proposal is that chairperson, Sondra, IOF Secretary General, Secretary Kirsty McIntyre, IOF Sports Administrator, and 2 minute checkers, Mike Towling from Australia and Dominika Blochova from Czechia, and independent election supervisor, Scott Collier. This is a proposal. Any other proposals? If not, then let's move forward to the voting process. So here's a proposal on the screen, and voting is open. So please, Lumi, take over from here.
Thank you. And the vote is now open. So please use the Lumi platform to place your votes. Simply click on your desired choice and your vote will be submitted. Thank you. thank you. And for your information, we can see how many votes have been submitted of the total so far. So we're just giving everyone the chance on this first vote to submit a vote. We also are joined by the scrutineer virtually, who is able to see that flow of votes and will advise us when the poll can close. Thank you. The poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the results are displayed on screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Lumi. We have 32 votes yes, and please, Presidium, take your seats in the front. And I will hand over to Sondre now to guide us through the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leo. And on behalf of the Presidium, thank you for trusting us with this responsibility. Our job is to then guide you through this General Assembly and facilitate a good meeting for both those taking part in the General Assembly here in Edinburgh and those taking part in the General Assembly virtually through the Teams and Lumi platform. We will now go briefly through some information about the order of business for the meeting today. And for those of you participating on site here in Edinburgh, if you want to speak, you simply raise your hand in the meeting room here, and then please use this number or land code that you have in front of you. Put that up in the air, and we will note down this on a list here and call you to the lectern in front of the room to give your comments or questions. Speak then loud and clearly into the microphone, and this is important also so as to secure that those participating remotely can hear you. So all speakers will be called to the lectern in front of the room. You speak to the General Assembly and not from the General Assembly. Remember to turn off the sound on your laptop and phone through the meeting. You do not need to stream the broadcast from the meeting in the Lumi platform to be able to participate from here. And as for the pre-General Assembly, be quiet when others are speaking. The background noise will interfere with the sound for those participating remotely. So this is very important. You may think that you are not disturbing anyone while talking a bit to the person sitting next to you, but this will be disturbing for those participating remotely. For those participating remotely, if you want to speak, you simply raise your virtual hand in the Zoom meeting in the Lumi platform. And we will do our best to keep track of that to make sure that those who want to speak are able to speak at the desired agenda points. When speaking, you turn on your microphone and camera. And when you are not speaking, remember to turn your microphone off. Thank you for paying attention to this through the entire meeting. We will now, and as mentioned earlier, you do not need to stream the meeting here or to have your camera on through the meeting. And just to confirm, are we able to also show my presentation on the screen here? Okay, then we have to share it again. But before doing that, I will invite Lumi and our independent election supervisor, Scott Collier, to perform a test vote among the voting members here. And I would like to also ask Lumi to kindly ensure that the list that you have been provided with the difference between full members and provisional members have been correctly understood, so that provisional members being part of the General Assembly, Luxembourg and our member in Paraguay have not been given voting rights. Thank you, and please proceed to the test votes.
Thank you. I can confirm that the provisional members do not have access to a vote. Thank you. What you will see as people log in during the course of the assembly is the total number of votes may increase from motion to motion. Our first test vote that we have loaded is, does summer come before autumn? And that vote is now open. So we'll leave that poll open for a further 10 seconds. It appears most have been able to vote. 30 out of the 33 so far have placed a vote. That vote is now closed, and the results displayed. That is the first test vote we have loaded. And the next test vote will be an election style vote. You will be using this format in some of the upcoming votes. So a simple question here of choosing 4 candidates to be council members. And that vote is now open. The difference with this style of vote is that you will need to select 4 candidates and press the send button at the bottom of the form. If you are using a phone, it may require scrolling down to the bottom of the list of candidates in order to find the send button. Votes are coming in nicely, and I can see that most of you are able to submit a vote.
Can you tell the names of the candidates 1 to 9? names and countries?
So this is just a test vote with the candidates.
I think that should also be displayed, the name and country of the candidates.
Thank you, I understand. We haven't loaded that for this test vote, but be sure that when the real vote comes open, you'll be able to see candidate names and countries.
Okay, this is only a test. Okay.
This is only a test, thank you. So please choose whichever of those candidates you wish. Thank you. So I will close in 10 seconds. That is now closed. And the results displayed. So you can see listed here, highlighted green, the 4 candidates that achieved the position. Thank you. That concludes our test voting. And I'll hand the floor back.
Thank you very much, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And it's good to see that the test voting here has worked so well. From the Presidium side, it's our job, as mentioned, to facilitate a good meeting for all of us. And if you have any questions or concerns related to the formal side of the General Assembly, please indicate that also by raising your hand, either in Lumi or here in the meeting room in Edinburgh. We will then move on to the approval of the agenda and ruling on the urgency of any items not included in the agenda. And you see here now on the screen the agenda that was sent out in accordance with the requirements by the statutes of the International Orienteering Federation. There are, as explained in the pre-General Assembly 2 days ago, 2 agenda items being removed from the agenda. That is agenda item 9.6, confirmation of suspension of the member in Nepal, because the suspension was lifted by the IOF Council in the council meeting 3 days ago, following payment of due membership fees. And the proposal from the member in Czechia regarding the program of the World Orienteering Championships has also been withdrawn and is forwarded into the Sustainable Event Program project for further consideration. Are there any delegates who would like to speak on this matter? No, we will then continue to the vote on approval of the agenda and ruling on the urgency of any items not included, and there has not been any proposals on that. And I then ask Lumi and Scott to continue with the vote. Do you approve the agenda of the General Assembly?
That vote is now open. That poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the results displayed.
Thank you, Lumi. And the agenda for the General Assembly has then been approved. We will then continue with the next item on the agenda, and that is the approval of the minutes of the IOF Ordinary General Assembly held on the 1st of July 2022, also in a hybrid format in Denmark and on the Lumi platform. And the minutes were included in the documents sent out to member federations and published in accordance with the requirements of the IOF statutes, and are signed by the chairperson of the meeting, the IOF president, the minute taker, and the 2 minute checkers. Do anyone want to speak to this matter? No one, and we will then continue to the votes. Do you approve the minutes of the 31st IOF Ordinary General Assembly held on the 1st of July 2022? And I then ask Lumi and Scott to continue with the vote.
That vote is now open. I will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed and the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you very much, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And the minutes has then been they have then been approved. We will then continue with agenda item 6, and that is the report by the Council on the activities of the IOF since the last Ordinary General Assembly and approval of the same. And before handing it over to IOF President Leo Halna, the annual reports, both for 2022 and 2023, were included in the General Assembly binder. So I hope that all of you have been able to read through them carefully in case you have any questions or concerns. But then over to Leo Halna for his presentation before we will open up for questions and comments.
Thank you, Sandra. I hope that you are familiar with those reports, and I will definitely don't go to the details. My plan is actually to give some short overview to you where we are in 2024 in our organization, and to summarize somehow the period of current council and also previous ones, because it has been a long time here, at least for me in the council, and I try to say what we achieved and what we should do in the future. But somehow it's my personal view, but it's also some clear facts which we can't avoid. So please, next slide, Sandra. So first about the membership status. And so if you remember, back in 2016, we decided that we do not collect flags. And we actually reduced membership. We had 80 members before GA in 2016 in Strömstad, Sweden. And when we closed the GA, we were 10 members left. And the main reason was that one of the main motivations was that we do not collect flags. We need active members in our organization. And on that time, when I was just elected as a president, my first promise to you was that we will recover. We will recover soon. We will have 80 members by 2020. But sorry to say, we failed, I failed, we all failed. There were some low-hanging fruits which we picked very early, and we were up to 76 at GA in 2020. Before GA, this is important because unfortunately every GA means that our membership numbers will be a little bit less. And we unfortunately have to come back to the very same issue later today. And now before GA this year, we are in 78. 78 members, but there are some proposals coming later. But key word what we have now discussed inside Council is the sustainability, as I mentioned before, and we think it's difficult to calculate who is sustainable, who is not, because there are several aspects, but we guess that or assume that we have around 60 sustainable members out of this 78 we have today. But it's clear for all of us, I think this is obvious that if we want to be a global sport, we need more, and we need more sustainable members. Next slide, please. Few words about our organization. We have council. Council is made up of 13 members today. It's president, 3 vice presidents, 7 council members elected by GA, and 2 athletes representatives actually are elected by athletes themselves. And we just need to confirm later today. And our working methods during last 4 years has been, we have 6 meetings per year, 4 digital and 2 hybrid meetings. Office, we have 7 individuals in the office, and roughly, if we calculate back to how many full-time jobs, we can say that there are 5.5 full-time jobs. And 2 years ago, Tom decided to retire, and first we tried to have copy-pasted Tom's job description and to find the individual who has all the skills in one body. But later we realized that this is not possible. And actually we divided CEO, Secretary General job description into 2 and hired 2 individuals, Hendrik and Sondra. And I can tell you it's really a success story for our organization. This new office setup and reorganization, I would say 1 + 1 is now 3, plus this transitional office contribution. So, and this was really good for our organization, and we are moving on completely different speed right now. And our main communication method is not something new. COVID changed this completely, and we catch this tailwind coming from all these IT developments and use this in the favor of our organization. And this is really good news that we have reduced carbon footprint, but at the same time we have more contact, more regular contacts, and so. And of course, still a lot of work. We have super volunteers in our organizations, actually people who are not paid. They are not paid for work, they are paid for travel and how to say, receiving some recognition via IOFGeneral, but actually the contributions they are giving to us is close to half-time or full-time job. And one of the challenges, as we have seen over the years, and it's unfortunately not getting easy in the future, is that the manning of the commissions. You, our members, maybe you keep your best people in your organization. You don't send to IOF your best representatives, I feel. And this has been a problem. And in general, I feel that in all levels, at least young generations, they are not so eager to do voluntary work as older generations. So my personal observation is that willingness to do voluntary work is gradually decreasing in all member federations and also in the clubs. People want to come to event and pay entry fees, but not to organize event, to be short. But that's also a fact. I have said this at least 2 times before that as of today, there is no chance that this voluntary work can be replaced by paid jobs. We simply do not have resources for that. Please. So there are some working methods. It's we have a lot of values in organization. We try to follow official ones and unofficial ones, but this was something which, at least during last 12 years, it started with Brian in your time, but I tried to even to more to improve it. That we are open, transparent organization. We are working very regularly. We don't work only during the meetings. We try to work monthly at least, not 4 times per year. And all information we have, there is no secret. All information is public information. And important is that we have spent a lot of time on consultations and communication with all stakeholders. This is a quite time-consuming process, but it's part of democracy and it helps us to better to prepare our decisions. And I feel that the quality of decisions made by Council is much, much better than in the past, thanks to this approach that we have. We have a lot of consultations with our stakeholders. And of course, as I said, we meet more regularly. Our meetings are shorter. We don't have any biannual reports. We have annual reports and so on. So this is really another speed now we are moving in our communication and cooperation with you members. So please, next slide. Slides are coming on my screen with 10 seconds delay. I should look over there. So we have a good governance. Maybe somebody has another opinion, but in my opinion, we have good governance in our organization. It's something we should be proud of. But this is not overnight change. We started those changes back in 2014, 12, we started those discussions. Actually, it was decided in 2014 to do significant changes in our statutes, but since they started to implement from 2016 and onwards. And one of the important change was that we have now a council member term is 4 years. It has a good means that somehow it's easy to say, okay, I will go for next 2 years and then another next 2 years. But 4 years is a longer step. You need to think, do I really want to contribute? Do I have time for next 4 years for this organization? And I think it was a very good decision back then. And then at the same time, we created a council rotation model. So we are re-electing, every GA is re-electing roughly half of the council members. And also we have limitations on re-election, how much you can be re-elected. It's twice per each position, meaning in short, if you start a council member, you can be re-elected once, meaning in total term 8 years. Then you go up to vice president, maybe. Then it's 2 terms. In total, it means 8 years, and the president position as well. The term limit is 2 times 4 years or 8 years. In best case, if you start as a kid in our organization, in theory, you can spend, if you get the trust from organization, to spend 24 years. But this was implemented back in 2016, first time, and we have also first happy victims of this rules and this rule now, and I'm one of them, and I really think personally that this is a good rule. There is a new people should come to our organization to keep the speed up. And of course, athletes representation was very important. It's first time we started in 2022, last 2 years ago. First 2 athletes representatives were elected to our council, and it gave really fresh input from completely different angle. And I heard also from athletes that say now better understand why IOF Council is making the decisions as they are. So typically, there is no, all decisions quite often is some sort of compromise and not so how to say, not all stakeholders are happy. It means that in case all stakeholders are not happy, it's a good decision. Typically, if somebody is happy, then it's unbalanced. And important thing we have discussed many times, and I remember quite heated discussions back in 2016 on gender balance. At least for time being, this problem is sorted out. As I said before, we have so high number of female candidates that there is possibility that we will reach 50-50 or even female candidates will take over the IOF Council. That's good. And also important to know that we changed the President's Conference. If you remember, in the past, we had a biannual President's Conference and GA alternative years. And now we have member information meeting. We have 2 meetings per year. So you have short compact meeting on actual issues. And I have received positive feedback from our members that it works well. Of course, there is always something to do and to improve. And one of the areas for improvement is definitely geographical balance in the council. We have only 2 members we called out of Europe today. It's according to the statutes, because we have not set the higher goals that we should have more outside Europe. But I hope that later today on the elections, there are several candidates out of Europe, and you as a members will also look to this before the voting, that maybe you can voluntarily promote members out of Europe without any quotas. Because this is obvious for me, and I can tell you we have discussed in council's issue. In case we want to accommodate more regions in the council, most likely it would mean that we have to extend the total number of council members, which currently is 13 members. It's very difficult to have all stakeholders in the council and to keep the same size of the council. But I know that Tommy, sorry, I can't say so, but the next council will take this issue at some point of the time. And of course, governance is not something which is written into stone. It's a continuous process, and all international sports federations have a pressure from society. We have to improve. There has been very bad examples, not in our sport, but we have all know what happened in other sports, corruption and everything which is not good for image in sport in total. So we have to improve this, and this is really important. And I try to summarize now this, where we are in the middle of 2024. The good news is that our finances are in good shape. We are a non-profit organization, and we have, there is no urgent need to make a profit. But it's important to remember that we do not spend more than we earn. And this has been, I can tell you, we have 6 meetings per year, and every council meeting we are following up what is going on, what is our income, what is our expenditure, and what are our plans for the future. And thanks to Henrik and office, who is very flexible in adjusting costs. In case there is no income, there is no cost, if possible. We have made a small positive results also years now. So we are, in that sense, we are in solid ground as an organization. But of course, we can't ask you more money from you as members or as from event organizers. We are working heavily to increase external income, meaning from partners, sponsors, venue partners, from everybody who is not directly connected to the orienting And it means that we should have a good product to sell our events on higher price tag and to share also our success with organizers like we do today. And they perform well and we have extra income from our live services, for example. We are sharing this success with our organizers. And I feel that we are moving faster than in the past. First, we have more hands in the office. As I said, Sondre, Henrik, also team, they have different speed now after COVID. And we have invested a lot to support organizers and to improve our event quality. And we have seen the results. We need to deliver constant TV quality products to our customers to be successful. And this is not easy because every time our event is some sort of happening and then different environment, different challenges, different organizers. But Henrik is mostly working on delivery side with his team, and we have really sent out a highly professional IOF support team to support the TV broadcast, to support all those interviews after race and also course setting and things like that. We are making major step in this area during last 5 years at least. And important is to enjoy to be part of this organization. This is something which is really important. We are volunteers. I'm also volunteer. Somebody thinks that I'm getting salary, and I'm not getting any salary. I have a full-time job on top of my voluntary job. And all of council members are in the same situation. And I hope many of you as well. So and I feel, this is my feeling, maybe you are wrong. You think that we don't have such attitude, but I think we have positive attitude in our organization. And we have motivated members in the council and office. Now it's a dangerous slide. This is my letter for the future. But I think what we should do in the future. We have discussed this issue. It's not something new, but key success factors, if we look to the future, is sustainable event program. That was clear for all of us 2 days ago after the presentation from Tom and Hannu that our program is not sustainable, especially in 3 smaller disciplines. And somehow we had to agree on realistic program with key stakeholders like athletes, organizers, and members. And that is a program which is older than maybe IOF Council. This is to find organizers and to make IOF events financially sustainable for IOF organizers to apply and to organize. Another important thing is fair play. We had a very bad happenings back in 2019 in China. We started a fair play project, and we picked some low-hanging fruits. It was not so difficult, actually. It took time, but it was not so difficult. But there are some issues which I personally feel we need to work on in the future. Maybe it's my personal problem, but I still think that following and cooperation in our sport is not part of the game. It's a fairness issue. And let's see how new council will think about this. But this was something which we, from very beginning, took out from this fair play project, not to spend all time on this very challenging problem, I would say, that because people have very different opinions on this one. Of course, we need to increase our external income. And we can do it many ways. Recently, our live broadcast has been a success. The numbers are growing. Maybe Henrik will show them later in our budget. But we have this so-called niche market for the orienteers who are in the countries without live TV broadcast. So our important customers and the sales revenue is currently increasing 30-40% per year. This is completely extra income for IOF because we still have this fixed cost of live TV production. This is just the extra distribution channel. And now we have seen that this channel is also in different languages. And I really hope that languages like French and Spanish and German will significantly expand our market. And maybe not only outside the insiders. Maybe the next is family members of kids, for example, or juniors, and maybe we can go to the wider distribution. And we are working on this. We have made quite good progress already, but it's still a long way to go. And of course, important is always to remember that we have always to develop our organization, and also, as I said before, we have to enjoy to be part of this family. We need to improve our good governance because standards are continuously improving. Our other sports federations are also catching us, even though we were listed a few years ago as the best international non-Olympic federation in this area, but we still need to improve. And important to underline, in my point of view, is that good cooperation between stakeholders and team spirit is key of success. So, Sondra, there is one more slide. So this is now something very personal slide for me. So, 1999, I joined as a council, as a photo commission member, and in 2002, I was already elected to the council. If somebody asks how you can stay 22 years in the council, and I can be honest that the first 10 years, it was, my opinion was not so, it was not asked so much. And so I was present in the meetings, but not contributing too much. But starting from 2010 and 12, of course, it became more and more not full-time job, but my second job. And of course, now it's quite a lot of work actually. Is my spare time is going to orienteering. And you elected and re-elected me 9 times altogether, I counted. But I remember when I promised in 2012 that if on this presentation that if you vote me, your vote will be, if you vote for me, your vote will be always present at meetings. And I kept this. So somehow I managed to be in all meetings during this period, all general assemblies, all council meetings, all president's conference, and so on. It was, I don't think that it was difficult if you prioritize your life like I did, but maybe it's not a good in many point of view. I have another challenges in the life because my priorities has been in orienteering, and so I would like to thank you members, and especially some members here, Miga from Finland. You have always had a good, you are like me. If it's good, you say good. If it's bad, you say you should do better. So thank this feedback from your members and even other members who have been silently supporting council and me. I'm very thankful to all of you over the years. And council, of course, members who have spent together many years. And I started to count how many council members during this 22 years has been together with me in the council, and I ended up only on 30 members. And currently it's 13 members in the council. So meaning that our turnover in council has been quite bad actually. It's 1.4 council members per year, or 2.8 council members in Congress period. So We have not so good rotation so far, but I think it will be improved in the future. And yeah, and I was also pleasure work with 4 different CEOs and secretary generals during this time. And my total score was 105 meetings, 83 meetings in person, which included some travel to some point of the world. It was 3 days roughly, typically 3 to 4 days, including travel days, and then digital meetings later after 2020, of course, they are shorter than, you can say, 1 day. And if you put all together, it's around 11 months in those meetings. Is this, does it make sense? Maybe, but it's a lot of time actually. Maybe we need to be more effective in the future. And this is something which I am proud and not so proud to say that I have had the opportunity to be part of all our decisions, both good and not so good. But we are all human, we make mistakes. I have made also mistakes, I promise. And I would like also to thank our commission members and event organizers. It's sometimes I have been tough with commission members. I have challenged them on the meetings and asked them to think out of box. But we have sorted out mainly those issues in very good atmosphere, and also event organizers have been very good partners for us and also for me. That they always try. We have very good actually voluntary organization, and in several world championships, I'm simply proud to see how our organizers are doing the event and what is enthusiasm and what is efforts they are making in order to make our event successful. This is really something we should be proud in our organization, how our organizers actually want to deliver, how they set the standards first, and then they try. And of course, sometimes they fail a little bit, but the big picture is that our organizers is one of the biggest assets. And finally, for all of you, I would like to thank you all for your trust and friendship over the years. It has been a pleasure to work with you, and I can make a public promise that I will not disappear from volunteering. I heard one of my good friends from Switzerland, he was on that moment in age 76. He said, "Look, Leo, best time for men to do voluntary work is in age 65 to 70. And I have still this period to come in the future. I'm looking for this period, and maybe I can do something for volunteering in the future." So thank you.
Thank you to IOF President Leo Halna for your report and also your recommendations for the future. And I then want to ask, do any delegates wish to speak on the agenda item 6 on the report by the Council on the activities of the IOF since the last Ordinary General Assembly? No, we will then continue to the votes, and I kindly ask Lumi and Scott to take over and open the votes.
Thank you. That vote is now open. It will close in 10 seconds. Poll is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Rumi, and thank you, Scott. We can then see that there has been 35 valid votes cast. 34 has voted yes, 0 on no, and 1 abstention. And the report by the Council on the activities of the IOF since the last Ordinary General Assembly has then been approved. We will then continue to the next item on the agenda. That is the report by the Ethics Panel on activities since the last Ordinary General Assembly. And then it is my privilege to welcome to the lectern Bob Dredge, who is the chairperson of the IOF Ethics Panel.
Sandra, members here today and those joining us remotely, thank you for the opportunity to present this brief report to you. I have documented the report in your pack, and so I just want to highlight the main points that you may or may not have missed. The first one, I'm sure you all know these off by heart, but just in case to make the point, there are 4 principles that the IOF Ethics Panel are charged to uphold if referrals are made to us. And it is these: equality, fair play, respect, and integrity. And it is only against those principles that we will consider any referral. And we are strict in that. There are some cases which have been brought to our attention which are of a more general nature, which we have said, no, that's not within our strict terms of reference. So we are very disciplined about that. And I would make that point. The other point I would make is that we have had several referrals, and I think that's a very good point and a very strong point, and it emphasises what the President has said in terms of the strength of governance and transparency within this organisation compared to many other sports federations. And that is, I think, a real bonus and something that the International Ring Federation should be proud of. And that's all I wanted to say about that. Briefly, if we move to what have we done over, So since the last General Assembly, when I reported to you then, we have had a few referrals. 4 of those have referred to the Council's decision and the General Assembly decision, which endorsed that, on the position of Russian and Belarusian athletes. 2 of those referrals we considered were not within our jurisdiction, not within our remit. They were decisions of Council, and statutes showed that those should be considered by Council and not by any other organisation subservient to Council. Having said that, of course, we are not subservient to Council, we are completely independent, but those are Council processes. One specific case was of an individual who it was suggested that they had been debarred from competition purely on the basis of their individual personal circumstances and nationality, not on the basis of their membership of the federation. We considered that, and we did not uphold the appeal. We rejected the appeal based on the fact that Council and the General Assembly had made their decision, and that was to do with membership, individuals associated with memberships of federations, and therefore it was not appropriate for us to make any decision on that. There was one further referral, which was, we believe, of a much more serious nature, and that is of a Russian athlete in mountain bike orienteering who had clearly, in our view, circumnavigated the eventual system to change their nationality and had registered for a IOF registered event under a different nationality. Subsequently, the IOF office spotted that, withdrew the athlete from results and so forth. But we did investigate that case. There were some mitigating circumstances I put there, which to an extent were about internal processes within events, or that allowed that to happen. They have now been, as I understand it, rectified. But because of that, and because the athletes' results had been withdrawn and no other athletes were affected by that in any adverse way, we issued a very severe warning to that individual as to their future conduct. There was one, and forgive me, there was one further activity which you've read the report, you will have spotted in paragraph 9 of our report, which I omitted from the slide, forgive me. There was one referral of a event planner, a course planner at a World Cup race, who there was potential conflict of interest between his role as a planner, a course setter, and his role within a national federation. Again, we looked into that one in a lot of detail, and it was very clear that that conflict of interest had been declared to the IOF and especially by event advisor well in advance of the competition, was made public to, in the bulletin of that competition, and we felt it had been perfectly adequately handled, and therefore there was no further case to answer. So those were our 5 cases. I mean, ideally, we would not want to have any cases and do no work. But as I say before, I think it's the strength of this organisation that referrals do come forward and they are looked at. So if we can move to the last slide. We have a very strong remit, which we are very, very precious of. And former GAs has been challenged in the sense that we can impose strong sanctions on individuals, on federations, and we can require council to consider our recommendations and report back to us on their actions. And in fairness to council and in fairness to the IOF Secretariat, we have made recommendations. They're noted in our report. All but one have been agreed by the IOF Council and implemented. The one which has not been agreed was one we proposed that our membership should be extended from 5 to 7 members to deal with the point that the President has made of the volume of work based on individual volunteers. Council has not accepted that yet, but we will review that internally and see where we go with that one. There was one other point I wanted to be clear as well, in case you have read the report in detail. Those of you that have been around long enough will know that I've been on the former commission and then to the panel from its inception. So that is, in fact, 8 years. In our terms of reference, we are clear that we could only do 8-year terms, 4 successive terms of 2 years. And two of the members, myself and another person, were of the opinion that we would stand down now. Our time had come. Those 8 years had gone. We were asked and advised by the IOF that because of the change from a commission to a panel, and this was checked out at our request, checked out with the IOF governance auditor, it has been established that we are eligible to restand, and both of us will put our names forward, but that is for you to decide later in this agenda. But just for the avoidance of doubt, that is our position. It was checked out personally and by the IOF, and they are confident, and we are confident that we are not acting against our terms of reference. So that's what we've done over the last 2 years. I would like to very much thank the IOF Secretariat, who've always been very, very helpful in returning information to us when we've requested, and of course to my panel members who have worked diligently over the past 2 years to investigate those cases. With that, I'm more than happy to take any comments or questions and leave it to you to consider our report.
Thank you, Bob Dredge, for your report on behalf of the ethics panel. And I will then open the floor and ask, are there any delegates who wish to speak to this agenda item on the report by the ethics panel? Seems like it was all clear. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will then continue to the votes. And you will then be asked, do you approve the report by the ethics panel on its activities since the last ordinary general assembly? And I kindly ask Lumi and Scott to open the vote and inform us when the vote will be closing. Thank you.
The vote is now open. Close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And 33 voting members as they have voted yes. No votes on no, and 1 abstention. So the report by the ethics panel is then approved by the General Assembly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bob. And you also play a key role in the activities of these World Championships. So I think that we should give
No.
a hand for Bob and wish him good luck with the further delivery of the championship here.
Thank you.
We will then continue, and we will continue to agenda item 8 on auditor's report, approval of the accounts for the calendar years 22 and 23, and discharge of the council. And I will then like to invite Henrik Eliasson to do a short introduction to this matter. And kindly ask you, Henrik, to keep it short, give us the highlights from the accounts, and we can leave the details to if there are any questions from the membership. So please, Henrik, I will then share the screen with at least 1 slide from your side.
Thank you. Thank you, and hello, everyone. So, thank you. So, comments to the accounts.
And please stand close to the lectern so that those participating digitally can also hear you well.
Thank you. So, the IF has recovered quite well from the pandemic and also the years of inflation pressure. We try to summarize some comments for these 2 past years. And some of them you might recognize from the presentation from Leo as well. So we are operating with an active cost control, which means that first part of the year, we're looking into how much income are we able to secure, and then we adjust our spendings according to that. Because we are a small organization and we need to all the time deliver close to the budget target. We have been able to keep the member fee stable throughout the period, and also trying to make it even more clear how they are used for the governance of the federation. If you look into the general picture for the 4 disciplines, foot orienteering events are the one who are contributing the most to the income and to the IOF, and also of course the expenditure, because for us it's about returning the money, either spending them on TV production or repayment, revenue share with organizers and member federations, or in other ways pushing them out to the orienteering community. It's also include prize money, etc. In this period, we have been able to increase the number of TV broadcasted events, and also together at the same time engage more TV clients. So the last 2 years valid here, and also this year, every VOC and World Cup have been full quality TV broadcasters, which was not the case the year before that, or the years before that. So we are seeing positive step here. And as mentioned, the number of live stream through the IOF TV portal has increased. And we are expecting this year, 2024, to have about 100,000 euro in revenue share back to organizers, which are both local organization, sometimes federations, like, for example, JWOC, where we just recently launched, and we're able to give a significant payback to the Czech Federation. So it's one important goal of ours. So we will use the income also to spread to the one who are active. We can also note that sponsor income has increased slightly in the period. And it was a quite tough situation after the pandemic. Main sponsor was gone and almost starting from zero, but we are back and a bit higher than the numbers than the pre-pandemic period. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Henrik. And you have received the profit and loss statement for 22 and 23, both in the General Assembly binder and also in our annual reports for 22 and 23, and also with the notes and also the balance statement for the IOF. Included in the General Assembly binder and also published on the IOF website are the reports from the financial auditor, Grant Thornton. And you have also in the General Assembly binder received the following report from the IOF governance auditor. I will then ask, are there any delegates who would like to speak on the agenda item on auditor's report, approval of the accounts for the calendar years 2022 and 2023, and discharge of the council? No? And we will then proceed to the votings. Please note that we here have a group voting, and the votings are: do you approve the accounts for the calendar year 2022, the same for 2023, and do you agree to discharge of the council for the calendar years 2022 and 2023? And again, I kindly ask Lumi and Scott to proceed with the votings and open the votes.
Those votes are now open. And as Sondra mentioned, we're taking a vote on 3 items at once. You will be able to submit a response for each of the 3 items. I will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And we can then see that item 8.1, 36 voted in favor, 0 no, 0 abstentions. The same for item 8.2 on the approval, 35 yes on the discharge of the council, and 1 abstention. So the reports have then been approved and the council has been discharged. Thank you also to our CEO Henrik Eliasson for his introduction on this agenda item. We will then continue to the next item on the agenda, and that is memberships and applications for memberships and decisions regarding suspensions and expulsions. In the General Assembly period, we have 4 new provisional members. The procedure for applying for a provisional membership follows the requirements by the statutes of the IOF, and it is the council who approves an application for provisional membership and grants the provisional membership. But as you see here, to be final, the council's decisions must be ratified by the next General Assembly. Since the previous ordinary General Assembly, council has granted provisional memberships to members in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Luxembourg, Mauritius, and the United Arab Emirates. And again, on this agenda item, we want to proceed with a group voting. But before proceeding to a vote, I will of course ask, do any delegates wish to speak on these agenda items 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, and 9.4, approval of new provisional members? No? Then we will proceed to the votings, and again ask Lumi and Scott to open the votes for us.
That vote is now open. And once again, this is on 4 items, similar to the last item. The votes will close in 10 seconds. The votes are now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And for Bosnia-Herzegovina, 36 has voted in favor, 0 abstentions, 0 no's. The same applies for item 9.2 and item 9.3. And on the final, on the United Arab Emirates, 34 has voted in favor, and there were 2 abstentions and 0 noes. We will then share the main presentation again. And the provisional memberships for the members in Bosnia-Herzegovina, Luxembourg, Mauritius, and the United Arab Emirates have now all been confirmed by the General Assembly. We will then move on to confirmation of suspensions. And we can start just to recap the positive news regarding the status of the membership of the member in Nepal. Council decided on the 13th of July to lift the suspension of the member in Nepal following payments of membership fees. And therefore, as approved on the approval of the agenda, there is no, this is no longer included in the votings that we will do here at the General Assembly. They have received back full membership rights. Obligations of members and provisional members of the IOF is to, here it includes to meet the financial requirements of membership. And when it comes to suspension of a membership, it says that the Council, acting under the authority of the General Assembly, shall determine the period and terms of the suspension and advise the member in writing on the period and terms of the suspension. And members who do not meet obligations of membership in clause 3.2.4 may be then suspended on these terms by the Council. And finally, for a suspension to be valid, it must be ratified by the ordinary General Assembly. So the proposal we then remain with is the confirmation of the suspension of the member in Barbados. Before proceeding to a vote on that, we will ask, are there any delegates who would like to speak to this agenda item? No, we will then continue and ask again Lumi and Scott to open the vote for us.
Thank you. That vote is now open. Poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you again, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And as you can see on the screen, the suspension of the member in Barbados has been confirmed by the General Assembly. And just for information, when the financial obligations to the IOF are met and fulfilled, the suspension will automatically be lifted. We will then continue to the next item on the agenda, and that is proposals to the General Assembly. This was also on the agenda of the pre-General Assembly on Saturday. And we will then start with item 10.1 on IOF statutes amendments. The proposals here are, as mentioned in the pre-General Assembly, based on a wish to further specify in the statutes what applies related to our election procedures in order to take a new step related to improving further our good position in governance. You can see the current text of the statutes in the left column here, and the proposal for new text on the right. And then again for 8.8.2 and 8.8.5, a new there on this slide. Do any delegates wish to speak on this agenda item? No, we will then proceed to the voting. And the question is, do you approve the proposal from Council for amendments to the IOF statutes? And Lumi, Scott, please open the vote.
Thank you, Sondre. Before we open the voting, I would like to remind the General Assembly that changes to statutes require a majority of 2/3 of the valid vote cast, disregarding abstentions. Thank you. Lumi, please open the voting.
Thank you, Scott. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. It's now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. And we can see that 35 out of 35 valid votes cast has voted yes to the to the proposal from the Council for amendments to the IOF statutes. And the amendments are then approved by the General Assembly and applies after the closure of this General Assembly. We will then continue to the next agenda item, and that is 10.2. And that is one single amendment proposed to the IOF Code of Ethics. And as mentioned in the pre-General Assembly, this is a follow-up of a request made by the Ethics Panel to the IOF to clarify whether the IOF Council is subject to the Code of Ethics. So you can see the addition, the amendment in green also here in the screen and in the documents for the General Assembly. Do any delegates wish to speak on this agenda item before we proceed to the vote? No, we will then continue to the votes. And Lumi, Scott, please open the votes.
Thank you. That vote is now open. Vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. You can see that valid votes cast is 34. 33 has voted yes, 0 no's, and 1 abstention. So the amendment is approved by the General Assembly. We will then continue to 10.3. That is the proposal from Council on celebration of the Leibniz Convention. IOF President Leo Halna made an introduction to the reasoning behind this proposal at the pre-General Assembly. And I will then ask Leo whether he would like to also say a few words about the proposal here at the General Assembly.
Yeah, thank you, Sandra. Now I will ask another time this very same question. Who was in Leibniz in year 2000? Please raise hands. Oh, no, it's more. It's 4 people. So, and as I said before in pre-GA, this was one of the remarkable General Assemblies in IOF history, actually. This was a major step forward to take us out of woods or out of nowhere. And one of the trigger, actually, unfortunately, was WOC here in 1999 in Scotland. And many members after that event realized that we have to change something. But I remember I was myself as an Estonian team leader. It was much better situation for runners, but we were in the middle of nowhere, and I was fighting only with these midges, these local Scottish mosquitoes, and it was really difficult to make this event visible. At some point of time, some organization started to think that we need to change completely, and it was a big discussion. And I sent. So, next slide, please. This is a full text. I will give you 1 minute to read it through and to understand how important it was really back in 2000 to come up with something. Maybe there are too many details that start and finish have to be on the arena and so on. But it was really a major step forward. And if you think that it was easy to implement in coming years, I would say no. It was a lot of, I can call them bushmen or members of our community who thought that we have to keep our original values. We have to hide our events in the middle of nowhere. And it was not so easy to think new way. And there was a major breakdown, I can tell you, and it happened in 2003 in Switzerland. Somebody asked me, what is the best WOC ever? You can't say what is the best WOC ever, because now it's a WOC number 40. And for me, it's a WOC number 28. And what is about this? I can say that which WOC was ahead of time. And definitely WOC in Switzerland in 2003 was WOC ahead of time and set the new standards. So it was event director Sönke Pandiksen, somebody maybe knows him, who did this major step and major kick to actually to implement these decisions. It took years and years before we are now in the situation that we can say actually goodbye and thank for this decision we made back in 2000 in Leibniz. So But it was extremely important for our sport, and it was part of, as I said before, in organizers' agreements in all last 24 years or 23 years. And now we think that this is time to say goodbye. And there is a resolution on the last slide. So I will not read this out, but this actually is telling that it was a success, but we need to move forward. So goals or values we discussed in 2000, now they are more or less implemented. You can always do better and fix some details, but in general, we can thank this old generation for this nice decision back in 2000, which helped us, our sport actually, to come out from the pushes and to come up really, as we saw yesterday, to even standard indoor football arenas. So we are really part of cities now, and also our forest events are not so much hidden anymore as in the past. So I strongly support to support this resolution and to say thank you to former federation chairman and former council members who actually were behind of this very important decision back in year 2000 in IOF history. So,
thank you, Leo. And I will then ask, do any delegates wish to speak to this agenda item on celebration of the Leibniz Convention?
yes, I was Lithuania.
Yes, and please, when you raise your hand, you put your sign up in the air so that we can see who it is. But Leo has already informed us that it is Lithuania. So then I kindly ask you, Leo, to take your seat and for Lithuania to enter to the lectern here.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the word. I just would like to ask or remark the question about Olympic ambition, because in this convention, only one document where our Olympic ambition was written. And if we are saying goodbye, it's no any Olympic ambition, because in strategic directions areas are no any about Olympics. So just like question or remark about this, maybe you can explain how we are going on. And I'm agree to say goodbye, but about this Olympic, we are still thinking or not, just this. Thanks very much.
Thank you for your question and comments. And I can assure you that the Olympic ambition and the desire to become part of the Olympics is still anchored in other steering documents of the IOF. And of course, if any members of the council would like to elaborate on that, you're welcome to do so. Are there any other delegates who wish to speak to this agenda item? No, we will then proceed to the votes. Do you approve the proposal from Council for the General Assembly resolution celebration of the Leibniz Convention? Then Lumi and Scott, please open the vote for us.
That vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And out of 33 valid votes cast, 33 has voted yes. and the proposal has been approved by the General Assembly. We will then continue to the next item on the agenda, and just to remind everyone that on the original agenda we also had this proposal from our member in Czechia, which was withdrawn and is part of now further assessments and considerations in the Sustainable Event Program work. We then move on to agenda item 11, strategic directions 22 to 26. And what we will deal with today, focus areas for the years 24 to 26, since the overall strategy is up for revision every 4th year, and the focus areas every 2nd year. And then Astrid Wollerkås, IOF Senior Vice President, will give a short introduction.
Thank you, Sondre. And then I'll ask us yesterday, are you still awake? Yeah, that's good. I for sure soon need a break. Dear orienteering friends, as you know, we have had a process when it comes to the strategic directions with a working group within the council and consultation with commissions and members. Very happy to see that 11 members actually gave some comments, very valuable comments. And then we adjusted our proposal and it was sent out before General Assembly. Just to remind you, there are no changes in strategic initiatives and goals. We are only looking at the focus areas. So our main goal is still to become a truly global sport. And Leo, I think I would add even one more successful, what we need to do. A key of successfulness is to work with the global and our member federation to actually achieve our main goal to really become a global sport. And I hope the new council will work with this because that is our main goal. And our 4 strategic initiatives to achieve this is to actively improve the performance and sustainability of the IOF and member federations, to improve the IOF brand and orienteering visibility, to develop the IOF's global competition program, and to upgrade governance further. So I will just give you an example on how we work in council. Twice a year, we do a self-evaluation. And you can see we have dots. If we give ourselves 5 dots, then we have achieved the goal. If we give 0 goals, then we either haven't started with it, or we even might have decided that this wasn't a very good focus area because it isn't functioning. It isn't giving the result we want. And then we measure, you can see the red rings, that's the difference from our last self-evaluation. So we keep track on where are we, how are we working? And we have the comments, that's the background for our self-evaluation. And it always gives good discussions within council. Are we on the right direction? Are we actually working with what we should be working with? So, as I said on the pre-General Assembly, everything is green here, but it's mostly wording. So I will give some comments to the route choices that actually are new in strategic actions. And when it comes to financial resources, we have a new one. I think we actually divided a very long route choice into two, because we want to look at options for how we can optimize the organizational and legal structure for IOF, and especially related to the event side of the business. And as Henrik presented earlier, we are on our way. We have a growth in new and external income, but we still want to have focus on that. We need more external income. And then to building strong regional and sub-regional activities, we have put in a new focus area, and it kind of shows that we have a more focus on regional activity. In the past years, we have this big global development conference for everybody. And now we have decided to have several smaller global development commissions suited to each region. And we see that the needs is very different in each region. And we hope to make our global development conferences more suited for everybody. Youth has been really important, and it has been difficult to find the route choices. What are we actually going to do? How can we attract youth, and what is IOF and Council's responsibility here? We are collaborating with FISU, and that's good. I would also like to say that we have, for the second year in a row, arranged ILA, Young Leaders Academy. And this year we had 25 participants. And they are very eager to do more work for orienteering. And from last year's Young Leaders Academy, we picked 2 of the participants, and then they became leaders this year. And we aim, if we have several ILAs, Young Leaders Academy, and one more is planned in Asia in December. If we have several more Young Leaders Academy all over the world, then we think this is a really good way to attract young people, sharing knowledge and building network. Sondre, if I'm going back to the building strong regional and sub-regional, you can go back to that, because you mentioned that, or maybe it was Leo. It's very difficult to define what is a sustainable member. And you can see when we propose suspensions and taking in new members, we look into the activity, and we have some criteria. We need to revise this criteria. It has been quite high in this last 2 years. And but seeing activity, seeing a growing of activity, and actually we need to get in contact with our members. So hope we will see more sustainable members, and that we will see less suspensions of members. Then we can go to the improvement of the brand and orienteering visibility, and TV and live media. As you heard, we are on our way. This is important, and broadcasting is really important. And the goal to have 12 countries that broadcast, we have now reached 10. And this is important for our sport. But also the growth of live orienteering is important. So we have tried to reword after your feedback. So hope this is understandable for you, that we also put some resources and money into live orienteering. And live orienteering also give revenues back to organizers and member federations. Our relations to stakeholders. Those of you who have been here for a long time, we had a lot of relations. Now we have concentrated our relations a bit and put more into each of these. And FISU is an important relation body for us, and also ARIS, where we have still, I think we have Tom in the board. Yes. So when we go into a cooperation, we want to do it with some resources and concentrate on those. Worldwide participation and World Orienteering Week. 45 countries participate in this walk. We have in the walk clinic, I hope you know the walk clinic. It has been organized for several years now. And one of the aim is to have skilled orienteers that cannot afford to come to walk, to actually come to walk and learn. They should be so skilled that they could finish a race. I'm not sure that the 12 participants we had this year did manage to come to the final, but they all finished. And it's a very good atmosphere between those 12. And it's organized by the Global Development Commission in IOS. I would also say something about World Orienteering Week. We have a high ambition, 500 participants in 19 countries. This year we are very happy with the participation in 73 countries and almost 120,000 participants. But I would like to challenge you, some of you, because we can do much better. And why should you be into World Orienteering Week? Why should you do it? It's a very good way to promote orienteering in your country, in your club. And it's also very fun to be part of something bigger. And this year, World Orienteering Week was very Eurocentric. Why should it be like that? 79% and of only 11% in Asia. So, Asian countries, can you join us making this bigger? You should beat Europe. And so should also South America. You are represented here today. Take it home with you next year. Who is going to present the results of World Orienteering Week? I hope we see some difference. It shouldn't be led by European countries. This is for everybody, so come on and join the party. on the high, go to the high level events. That's in the other part of the line. As World Orienteering Week is a low, what do you call it? Not a low level, but not low, it's easy to organize. We feel we are in a good way and that our focus areas and route choices are quite good. The changes here are on wording. And with the program of quality improvement, the working group working with that, I think seems like we are working quite good, and that the chosen route choices will function. And we have some, as Tom explained in the pre-General Assembly, we don't meet the goals today to have at least one event application for the other IOF major events, especially in the smaller disciplines. So something needs to be done, and I think the route choices will help us on the way. Fair play and rules. As Leo mentioned, we have been working quite a lot with fair play. And I think we have come quite far. And we should continue on working on this. Fair play is one of our core values. It's really important for us that people outside experience that orienteering, there you have athletes that are playing fair, you have a transparent and good governance. So it's important to have focus on this. And then the last initiative, to upgrade governance further. And it's about gender balance, age composition, but also inclusion is more than that. So we still have a way to go to include wider. We are 36 members here today, and our aim is 70%. 36 is a bit above, no, a bit lower than that. But it's important for us that you actually attend General Assembly, pre-General Assembly, and are active, because that gives Council feedback. And the new feedback, the new route choice here is to have a dedicated working group so that we can be proactive in getting members into Council and at least into the Commission. It's really important that we get candidates and that you can come up with proposals and that this working group can be proactive and look for candidates. And it's, in my experience, it's when you ask people, you have the skill, can't you join? We need a person like you. Then the person will sometimes say yes, because they know that somebody has recognized my skills. So that's the kind of point with this working group. We should be proactive and ask people that we think can do some work. And then it's also might be easier to get the diversity into the commissions also. and working with global development and Global Development Commission, you see clearly we are so different all over the world. So it's so interesting and so good to have the feedback from all over the world and from all kinds of people. So we have a way to go, and the new council will for sure work further with this. And our values are really important for us. So we need to communicate them and use them actively. No new route choices here, just a different wording. Then the sustainability. Just to explain, the same as I did at the pre-General Assembly, that reducing IOF's carbon footprint by 50%, that's for IOF organizations, not for the portfolio of events, because then people might not go to the events because we are going to reduce our carbon footprint. That's not what we want. But we also think that having more regional events will help people to reduce the carbon print. You can take part closer to where you live. And as Leo said, we can work digitally, and we are, but still we need to meet sometimes. That's good. And I would also say that we have a very, very active environmental and sustainability commission with very skilled people. They are so skilled that we sometimes don't understand what they are talking about. But they can help us. And in one of these young leadership academies, the leader of the commission actually had one session with the youngsters. And I think that's important to come out and tell the organization what we are working with. Yes, I think I have come through what I'm going to say.
Yes, then I will say thank you to our Senior Vice President, Astrid Bollekås. I was a bit afraid here that we would lose our break, which has been scheduled for 2 p.m. or sorry, 1 p.m. But we will get there soon. But before we go to our break, which was also decided by you, Astrid, I will ask all delegates, and you may take your seats. Are there any delegates who wish to speak to this agenda item on the strategic priorities of the IOF? And then we will start with Netherlands before Finland and Italy. And then it's Pim van der Wijk from Netherlands first.
All right. Thank you, General Assembly. Thank you, Astrid, and your committee for the work. It's a lot of work. I have some questions regarding the sustainability of members, also in relation to the fees later on. I see, in fact, that out of about 78 members, only 61 actually have world ranking event points. So I would say it's a very obvious area for investigation why there are 16 members without any international activity. And I missed that a bit here. I see that not as a number. It might be hidden somewhere in there, but I would say those 16 member federations are an important focus group in order to raise their sustainability, because that might actually be a sustainability issue. And as Leo said, we're not collecting flags here, but 60 members have no points. Well, and what you also can see that out of these 61 who do have points, 55 countries are here. So participation in that group is very high. That was one of my remarks. The other one is I didn't actually get the 70%, because if I see there are only 38 votes cast, I think that's just a little bit under half. So how is the relationship to the 70% where I only see 50% present? So those are my two remarks. And then a general remark, I have problems voting. So I have a very normal, so this has nothing to do with this, but I see actually I can't vote. The moment the voting comes on, my computer freezes. So thank you.
Thank you. Then I also can recommend that in the break, you can contact our technical staff. They can assist you. And I hope that you have also followed the instruction by Lumi and also using the proper web browser that is recommended by Lumi. Then we will continue to Finland before Italy. And then it's Mika Ilomäki from the Finnish Orienteering Federation.
Thank you. I will be very short. First of all, thank you, Astrid. It was extremely good presentation. I think all the goals are very important in IOF. There is only one question about financial resources. The goal 26 is that growth in new and external income to 500,000 euros. It's extremely good target. But if I read correctly papers, now the sponsorship level is 130,000 euros. So it means that the figure should be doubled from 24 to 25 and again doubled from 25 to 26. So it's enormous task, I think. And I hope that the council has considered enough manpower to this task, because it's a huge task and also very important. Thanks.
Thank you, Mika. And thank you for your comments. And we will continue to Italy and Sergio Anesi on behalf of the Italian Orienteering Federation. And if there are any other delegates who would like to speak on this agenda item, please indicate so during Anesi to the Presidium of the General Assembly. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank for the report, for the proposals that are inside, for the strategic initiatives that you have. I want to say only two things that I think is very important for the IOF. I have seen that you have like to have more relationship with FISU. I have had the opportunity to work with FISU a lot of years, many years ago, from 2010. I was the president of one of the universities in Italy in 2013. And I was also technical delegate for FISU for many, many years in different sports, speed skating, roller sport. I tried to push you and the council to have really more relationship with FISU because I think that we must enter in the university if you want to have young people more involved. And as you know, we have the Winter University in Torino 2025, and I have pushed with the president of the IOF to have skill in the university. But it's time, I think, to push also to have something during the summer university, to have, because it's a window that we open for the young people that is very, very important for the future of the orienteering. And so if I can suggest something to the council is really to think to go through the FISU to arrive to the Olympic Games, because the FISU in the past have had the opportunity to explore other sports and to push this sport also to have the opportunity to go to the Olympic. If we can say to our athletes, you are able in the future to go to the Olympic Games, I think is the best goal that we can do for the agonism and for our sport in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. That was a clear call for action to the council to be elected later today. Council has also received some valuable comments and questions to its proposal by the members here at the General Assembly. And I think we then want the council to give some feedback on that, and that will be given by Astrid Vollekås.
Thank you. I'm proud that this important item was the first where you actually gave us some feedback. That's good. I can answer something, I can think about it and give you my thoughts, but as you know, I'm leaving, so much is up to the new council. When it comes to world ranking events and measuring what is a sustainable member, and for sure we are looking into why do we have members that don't arrange world ranking events. And we have thought a lot about world ranking events. Are they organized in the right way? Are they attractive? Why don't members register for it? So I think it's a valuable input when it comes to how we measure an sustainable member. If you don't have any activity national on world ranking event niveau, I think that's it's important to have. We have in our goal 70% taking part in General Assembly. We actually had 45 members registered. So we were closer when we started, but today we have 36, and then out of, I think 66 of our members are entitled to be at the General Assembly and vote. So then we are up at 54%. It's not good enough, but we are on our way. Finland? Yeah, Mika, you have given forward to the new council. Of course, economy is important, and we know we need a lot of resources if we are going to get more external income. And external income also comes from TV rights and sponsors. And we all know that sponsor working is not easy nowadays, not for IOF, not for US member federations. We have some possibilities, I think, with both our events, but also our recreational activity, like World Orienteering Week. Come back to that. And Sergio, you pushed the new council for looking more into FISU. Summer, winter was easier, and we have been working also with the summer part. Yes, but that's a bit more difficult to reach. So thank you for your valuable input, and then we might have a pause.
That might be Astrid. Thank you so much. And I will then ask, are there any further comments or proposals to agenda item 11 by the delegates of the General Assembly? No, we will then continue with the proposal presented by Council and ask Lumi and Scott to open this vote. Do you approve the proposal for focus areas for the years 2024 to 2026 in the IOF strategic directions?
Thank you. That vote is now open. The poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And we can then see that the proposal has been supported and approved by all voting delegates at the Assembly. Then we are done with maybe the main dish of the General Assembly. We used a bit more time on the introduction here than budgeted, but I think it's worth spending some good time to anchor really the strategic priorities for our sport for the coming years. Maybe one of the most important items on the agenda at this meeting. Now we will finally have a short break. And for those taking part in the assembly here in Edinburgh, there is some coffee and snacks outside here. Take 15 minutes. Don't look up to the sky and see the good weather and escape before we are done. We will start again here in 15 minutes. So 13:40. to start the General Assembly again. Good. I hope you had a nice break, and we will now continue on the agenda with item number 12 on membership fees and budget for the years 2025 and 2026. And this was also on the agenda at the pre-General Assembly. So the plan now for the General Assembly is not to go into all the details, but when it comes to the membership fees for the years 25 and 26, and I kindly ask you to turn off the volume of your devices in the room here. You remember from the pre-General Assembly that there is no proposal for any change in the membership fee system that was approved by the General Assembly 2 years ago. So the proposal from Council is a continuation of the membership fee system for 25 and 26, and then with an adjustment to reflect inflation for the years ahead. And then the IOF membership fee system is based on a scoring in 10 membership fee level groups. And the score achieved by each member determines in which group you are and which membership fee that applies to your federation. And as explained by Vice President Tom Hollowell on the pre-General Assembly, it is proposed by the IOF Council to increase the total fees with a percentage of 9.7% over 2 years from 24 to 26. Included in the documents in the General Assembly binder was also a table with then the exact fee that under this proposal would apply to your member federation. Then I will ask, are there any delegates who would like to speak on the agenda item 12.1 on membership fees for the years 2025 and 2026? No, we will then continue to the vote and ask again Lumi and Scott to open the vote. Do you approve the membership fees for the years 2025 and 2026?
That vote is now open. The poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And we can see here that there has been 36 valid votes cast, 31 voting yes, 2 voting no, 3 abstentions. And the membership fees for 25 and 26 have then been approved by the General Assembly. We will then continue to the next item on the agenda, and that is 12.2. And we wanted to not group these votings because if the members had any other opinions on the membership fees, that would have an influence on the budget for the years 25 and 26. At the pre-General Assembly, our CEO, Henrik Eliasson, did a presentation of the main assumptions of the budget, and will again give you the highlights and be available for questions and concerns raised by members.
Thank you. Hello again. So in the budget presented in the binder, the numbers are presented. And overall, I would like to say that the process of moving forward and presenting the budget has been done in a working group within the council. So it's not only an IOF office product. It's been about 3 to 4 meetings during the spring, only with this topic. As the last time I was standing here in 2022, it is a bit conservative assumption that is used in the budget. So you will see that numbers in the actual budget is lower and less than the goals of IOF. And this is connected to this way of doing conservative assumption instead of basically be realistic. So our and my internal goals are higher than you will see in this budget, especially on the sponsor income, TV rights income, and IOF TV income. So basically external income. One quite important thing here is that the format has changed. And it's been a thrive from the council and me to align our budget presentation with the annual report format, to make it simpler to compare over the years and also compare it with the actual annual report. However, I would like to mention that if you are who were there 2 years ago and have seen our way of reporting, we have about 25 cost centers. So we are still using them and we're still following up on a detailed level. And this will be continued, even though we are presenting it here in this forum on a more aggregated level. We have the assumption of the member fee increase in the budget, and we would like to say that no big movements is in this coming years. However, you can track the broadcast income fluctuation connected to less broadcast activity from IOF side in 2025. I mentioned it yesterday. And also, as mentioned yesterday, the small interest income budgeted, working active with placing the funds we have, and all the time keeping track of the exchange rate variation. So maybe just for info, we are doing account closure every month. So IOF is we're tracking our finances on a monthly level. Thank you.
Thank you, Henrik.
Thank you. Maybe to clarify the note from the Finnish Federation about external income. We don't, yeah, we have the numbers there. Perfect. So within the first, what we call net income from operations, there is external income, but the definition that has been used so far is sponsor income, cash sponsor income, not any value in kind. TV rights income, but we have reduced. We know that several of your federations are contributing and cooperating with the national broadcasters. So we are not counting when you as member federation are involved as an external income. So it's income from national broadcaster, pure income. And both the value of them are both around 130,000 or were about 130,000 euro each last year. And the same applies with venue contribution when we have a Wacker World Cup. We usually here we have Event Scotland, City of Edinburgh are the main funding partners of this event. And we consider this as external income as well. However, we know at some events, federations are also contributing, depending on if they're maybe not been able to find a big venue partner. So if you take away a little there, it's about 140,000 on top of that. So if we're talking with this definition, we are about 80% towards the targets of 500,000 euros in income. And on top of that, we have IOFTV, where part of the goal is to have revenue back. So we can see there's a growth in external income, but one thing that I will ask the new council is to really define what we mean with that, and perhaps look into some more detailed ways of tracking it, so it's also understandable for the big crowd here, because it's much money going in and out, and we are sharing with the income and so on. So it's important that we have clear definitions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Henrik, for that introduction. And we will then ask, do any delegates wish to speak to this agenda item, 12.2, budget for the years 2025 and 2026? No, we will then proceed to the vote and ask Lumi and Scott to open the vote on do you approve the budget for the years 2025 and 2026?
Thank you. That vote is now open. The poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. We also take note that we are now up in 38 valid votes cast on this one, of a total possible votes in the platform of 39. This has also to do with some transfer of voting rights. 38 has voted yes, 0 no's, and 0 abstentions. So the budget is unanimously approved, by the General Assembly. We will then continue to the important decision on appointment of auditors. And the proposal from council is to reappoint as financial auditor for the current and the following financial period. That is the calendar years 2024 and 2025. Grant Thornton Sweden AB, represented by authorized public accountant Malin Palmqvist. And her CV was included in the General Assembly binder. And for reappointment as governance auditor for the General Assembly period 2025 to 2026, Matthias Kalle Dahlheimer, Germany/Sweden. Do any delegates wish to speak to this item on the agenda? No. Are there any other proposals? No. We will then continue and ask Lumi and Scott to open the following two votings, which you will vote on in block.
Thank you. Those votes are now open. The poll will close in 10 seconds. Poll is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. Then both the financial auditor and the governance auditor both are appointed by the General Assembly with 36 and 33 voting yes, 0 no's, and 1 abstention on each. We will then continue to the IOF ethics panel, and the members of the ethics panel are appointed by the IOF General Assembly to operate also independently by the rest from the rest of the IOF organization and the IOF Council. And earlier in the General Assembly, the chairperson Bob Dredge also shared with you some details regarding the eligibility of him and one other candidate here. So we will not repeat that message to you now. The ethics panel consists of up to 5 members, and that is regulated by the IOF Code of Ethics, which we made an amendment to earlier in the meeting, concerning whether councils should be subject to the code or not. So the proposal from council is to appoint for the General Assembly period 24 to 26 for reappointment Robert Dredge, Great Britain, Michel Ediard, France, Ari-Pekka Koivisto, Finland, and for new appointment Sophie Bourdet, Peru, and Henrik Nilsson, Sweden. Do any delegates wish to speak to this item on the agenda? Are there any other proposals? No, we will then go on to the vote and ask Lumi and Scott to open the following vote. Do you approve the appointment of Robert Dredge, Michelle Ediar, Ari-Pekka Koivisto, Sophie Bourdet, and Henrik Nilsson to the ethics panel for the General Assembly period 2024 to 2026?
Thank you. That vote is now open. The poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the results displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And out of 38 valid votes cast, 37 member federations has voted yes, 1 has voted no, and there were 0 abstentions. So the ethics panel has been appointed for the period to come. Thank you. And we will then move on to what maybe some considers to be the dessert of the General Assembly. Also some important decisions. That is not the break, but the election of the council. And at the pre-General Assembly, we went through some voting order, procedures, and rules of the composition of the council. So we will not go through this in detail again, but repeat that we will do the president approval voting first, which is required by the statutes, election of vice presidents, elections of council members, and then for confirmation of 2 athlete representatives appointed and elected by the athletes. At the pre-General Assembly, we went through the rules of the composition of the council, and Scott and Lumi will support us to make sure that the requirements given by the statutes are met. And this, as mentioned in the pre-General Assembly, might affect which candidates are actually elected. We might have a situation where a candidate with less votes than another candidate are elected due to the requirements here set in the statutes. I want to highlight one important element before moving on this. These requirements do not limit your individual voting rights for those of you who have such rights now, but concerns the total outcome of the votings. So you will be free to select the candidates you wish to vote for, but you must select the appropriate number of candidates. Also, just to repeat, there are 4 members of the IOF Council who are elected with terms until 2026. That is Vice President Tatiana Kalendreoglu from Turkey, Hannu Kottonen, Finland, Dusan Vistavel from Czechia, and Blair Trevin from Australia. Candidate overview. We have 1 nominated candidate for president, and we will therefore soon proceed to an approval voting. We have 3 candidates for the positions of vice president. And you see that we have a list here of nominations for the positions of council member. And here we will ask Lumi to do shortening of the list dependent on the outcome of the results of the vice president elections. You see that there are two candidates who are nominated both to the position of vice president and council member. So we will need a bit of time to make that update after those elections. We had in the pre-general assembly the candidate presentations. We do not open up for endorsement speeches, but I would like to ask all delegates, are there any questions or concerns related to the election procedures before we continue to the approval voting for president? No, and we will then continue. Election of president, approval voting. And I kindly ask Lumi and Scott to open the following vote. Do you approve the election of Tom Hollowell as IOF president?
That vote is now open. It will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the result displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you. Tom Hollowell is then elected IOF president for the next 4-year term. We will then continue to the election of 2 vice presidents. And the vote is then, you have to select 2 of the candidates on this list, Ilse Straume, Linda Take, Laszlo Sentai. Any comments from the independent election supervisor before we open the vote?
Thank you, Sondre. Just a reminder that the statutes require that 1 vice president should be female and at least 1 vice president should be male. There's 1 serving vice president who is female, therefore at least 1 male vice president must be elected as a result of this election. As Sondre said, that does not constrain how you may cast your vote, but it may affect the calculation of the results of the election. And finally, if you have any technical issues that prevent you from voting in this election, please just raise your hand. Thank you. Lumi, please open the voting.
Thank you. The vote is now open. Thank you. This poll still remains open. If you could please cast your vote. The poll will close in 10 seconds. Poll is now closed. And the result displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And we can see from the results that Laszlo Sentai and Linda Take has been elected as new vice presidents for the next 4-year term. And they have both reached above 50% of the votes as required by the IOF statutes for elections of vice presidents. So congratulations on the voting results. Before proceeding then to the voting for the positions of council members, we will then ask Lumi to kindly remove Linda Take from that vote, since Linda is now elected as our new vice president.
We've processed that change and are ready to vote.
Excellent, Lumi. Thank you for confirming that. Then I will ask Scott to give some information about the framework conditions, I would say, for this vote.
Thank you, Sondre. So the IOF statutes require that council include at least 3 members of each gender and at least 2 members from outside Europe. Following the election of the vice presidents, council includes 2 female members and 4 male members, with 1 member from outside Europe. The statutes therefore require that at least 1 female council member be elected and at least 1 council member from outside Europe. As Sondre said before, that doesn't constrain your voting, but may affect the way the outcome of the election is determined. And again, if you have any issues with voting on this item, please just raise your hand. Thank you. Lumi, please go ahead and open the vote.
Before opening the vote, there is one delegate who would like to speak, and that is President Leo Haldna.
Yeah, I think we have 2 overseas candidates already, Tom and Claire. It's a concept.
Yeah, that is not correct according to the statutes, because the statute says that it must be 2 from outside of Europe, and the president and the athlete representatives are not counted. So Tom is now elected president, so the information provided by Scott is correct.
Sorry.
Lumi, please go ahead and open the voting.
Thank you. That vote is now open. As a reminder, you will need to select 4 candidates in this vote, and you will need to press the send button to submit your vote. The send button is found at the bottom of the list of candidates. Thank you. poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And if you'll bear with us a moment, we'll just scrutinize the results and display them shortly.
Thank you, Lumi.
Again, the results are displayed on screen. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott. And as you can see, Ingrid Okkenhaug, Jørg Hellmüller, Ilse Straume, and Takashi Sugiyama are elected as council members for the next 4-year term. Congratulations to those on the results. We are done with the elections of the council, and we are done with the appointments for the next General Assembly period. And if you give me a moment, we will very soon proceed. And invite you to make the confirmation of the 2 athlete representatives. Athlete representatives from all 4 disciplines are elected among the athletes to athletes advisory groups for each disciplines, appointed from each athletes advisory group to an athletes commission in the IOF, and further 2 of them are appointed to represent the athletes at the IOF Council. And Eline Gempele from Switzerland and Futo, and Jonathan Ståhl from Sweden and Skio have been elected and appointed by the athletes. Do anyone wish to speak on this agenda item before we proceed? No, we will then continue and ask Lumi and Scott to open the vote.
Thank you. That vote is now open. I will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And the result displayed. Thank you. I hand the floor back.
Thank you, Lumi. Thank you, Scott, and Eline Gempele and Jonathan Ståhl. their appointments to the IOF Council have been confirmed by the General Assembly. We will then continue on to the next item on the agenda, and that is item number 16 on awards of honor. And we will then invite to the lectern IOF President, still President Leo Halna, to present the IOF Pins of Honor for 2024.
Thank you, Sandra. And we have a nice tradition to hand over IOF Pins of Honor, and I know many of who will get it are not here around today, but we will try to hand the pins over as soon as possible, maybe already tomorrow, because I know at least some of the listed individuals here will be at the event tomorrow. But this is my last opportunity to hand over those pins of honor, and we agreed actually with Tom that I will do this because the people now on the list they have worked together with current council and with me also over the years, and I have some privilege to recognize them, and this was discussed also in council, so this is not my private list, but there are a few people who actually were not so public and which I would like to recognize personally during this process. But Sandra, you have prepared something. I really don't know which order you have, but let's see. Let's start from IOF bronze pins and who is the first? First is a guy maybe you don't know, but he's a Secretary General of FISU, International Student Sports Organization. And we have really good partnerships with FISU. Eric Santroa has been very good and supportive to orienteering all over the years. And when we invited him to be our ethics panel member a few years ago, actually we got a fresh look from outside, and he really had a significant contribution to our ethics panel work during these years. So we have been of honors and to Eric Santroa, and I will give him over. We will meet next week, and I have opportunity to hand it over to him on next year. So let's make. Next one, you should recognize this athlete. His name is Florian Howald. It's a Swiss athlete. And when we started our Fair Play project in beginning of 2020, we all remember it was a difficult COVID times on that moment. And it was not Athletes Commission at that time. We called it Athletes Advisory Group. And I can tell you, he contributed a lot of time into this process and was very valuable speaking partner for this Fair Play Working Group on behalf of the athletes. So I would like to thank him and hand over. I have been of honor to Florian Howald. Next one, you should know him very well. He's a long-time member of our Photo Commission, very active member, Janos Manarin from Italy, and I think he's around here, but not today. So most likely he will get his award tomorrow. So thank you, Janos. Next pin of honor is to Jean-Philippe Stefanini, who actually was in our MAP Commission for 9 years, and in the last period as a chairman of MAP Commission. So Jean-Philippe, please accept our our pin of honor. It's not here? Ah, it's here. I tried to sort out correct numbers. You should get pin number 127. Somebody help me. Wait, 6. Okay, 127. Let's go here.
Thanks a lot. And I want to thank all the members of the MAP commissions because I think behind me, they are all honored by this spin-off. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's take the next. Next is Libor Forst. He's from Czechia, and he has been behind of our, I would say, success in Trade Commission in recent years. He was also event director on very successful World Trade Orthopedic Championships last year in Czechia. So I think he's not here, but let's make a big applause. Okay, who is next? Next is Lok Min Ha. He's an active member of our Global Development Commission, representing Hong Kong. I don't know if he's here or not, but no, he participated remotely, but we will find a suitable moment to hand our pin of honor over to him. So let's make a the next guy. We all recognize him. I call him voice of orienteering. So he has been contributed a lot over the years. At least I remember maybe 30 years commenting our events, and he's also a member of our photo commission. But main reason to get this award is that he's really good speaker, and we have enjoyed his voice over the decades. So, and he's here, as we all know. We try to hand it over tomorrow to him. So. Next is our chairman of Environmental and Sustainability Commission. He was not elected as an Italian representative to the IOF Council in 2018, but we invited him to be a chairman of the commission, and I can tell it was a success. So because of him, we know exactly how big is our carbon footprint and what we should do in the future in order to keep it under control or even to reduce, as we set our goal, to reduce our carbon footprint. And we will find a moment to hand it over to him. So, Stefano. Next one. This is former top athletes in Futo, actually. Somebody in this room has competed with him seriously. But later he turned to the mountain bike, and he has been very active member in Mountain Bike Commission over the years. So let's thank Stephen with big applause. Okay, let's take next one. It's active member of our Global Development Commission. Walter has been very active in last few years. Unfortunately, you were not elected today, but I know, Walter, you deserve this pin of honor, so please accept it. Okay, let's continue. We have, at least on my list, two more names to come. And they're both athletes. As you remember, 2 years ago, it was first time ever when two athletes were nominated to be members of IOF Council. And it was a great success, I can tell you. We had a different view. We had athletes' view over these 2 years, and this was really, really good and wise decision to spread our representation in the council to the athletes. So I have two pins, and first to Erik Blomgren from Sweden, and then Erik is not here. Maybe he is remotely participating. He was in the council meeting yesterday, at least participating remotely. So let's make applause to them. And there were two athletes actually. There is another athlete as well. She's running here. And she was running very fast yesterday. Czech team came as number 4 to the finish line, and she was on the last leg. But it also means that she can't be with us today, so most likely she's preparing for tomorrow. So let's make a big applause to Teresa for her contribution. Okay, this was silver pin, sorry, bronze pin. Now I have few silver pins as well to hand over. So let's start. Sondre, who is the first? You should know him very well. Zoran Milovanovic from Serbia. Thanks to Zoran, actually, our membership numbers are much higher. And without Zoran, he did a great job in Balkan countries and in many other regions. And he was also running IOF walk clinic for years. He retired, but he did not disappear. So he's around somewhere, but unfortunately not at this walk. So let's make a big applause to him. Okay, let's take the next surprise. No. Laszlo. I have been with Laszlo in IOF Council since 2006, 16 years. And Laszlo has IOF been 18 years, sorry. And you received the previous pin in year 2000, maybe. 2002, okay, you waited for this pin, but for 24 years, but 22 years, but you deserve this, so for your contribution over these years. So thank you, Laszlo. Okay, I have one more silver pin. Yeah, you should recognize him. And Tom was our Secretary General in 2015 to 2022. And we have rule in our organization in case you are paid employer, the maximum pin you can receive from our organization is a silver pin. But after Tom was elected, bronze pin, but when Tom was elected as a vice president 2 years ago, he started really to drive some projects, and Tom has been, I would say, the most active council member over the last 2 years, running several projects, and his contribution was really outstanding for IOF. So I know, Tom, that maybe it's too early, but you deserve it, in my opinion. So please accept this. Okay. It's not typical that we will hand out golden pins in IOF. But last time, if you remember, we handed out 4 pins. And in total, the number of pins we have handed out over the history is so far 13. And I think, in my hands, it's a pin number 14 now. And please release this name on the screen. May I say a few words before I will hand it over to Astrid? That we have been together in the council since 2008. It's 16 years. But and last 8 years, you have been a senior vice president, and I have been a president. But quite often we have been at the beginning on very different opinions. It's not that president or vice president have same opinions in our organization. Typically, me and Astrid are quite far in the very beginning. But at the end of the day, we have always found a compromise. And maybe this compromise was good for our organization as well, because we were different persons, but we respect each other's opinions. And our goal was to find a solution, the best solution for orienteering. So thank you, Astrid, and please accept this pin. Yes.
Thank you, Leo. And as you said, we have many times had different opinions, but I like that, and I like to challenge. And maybe I have been at the same opinion as you, but then I just challenge you to get a good discussion. It has been a long time within IOF. And those of you that think you will get rid of me, not yet. I will still share the Global Development Commission. As you understood, I have big interest in global development. So, and we are a very good team in the commission now. So I look forward to that. And then I will meet with some of you again in January. Thank you.
So that was all on my list. So
We're not done yet.
okay.
I think there's one more gold pin to award. And of course, it's to Leo. In the statutes or the rules that we have for awarding pins, I think in the gold pins, it says something like for outstanding service to the IOF. And I cannot find a person better to represent and actually represent those words exactly. Outstanding service to the IOF. So Leo, I would like to award you, I guess it's gold pin number 15, which I think is right in front of me. So thank you very much for your service.
Thank you very much.
Few more words. Even I said maybe too much already today, but
yeah, sure.
And really thank you all for those years. And as I said, I promise not to disappear, to contribute on some level, on international, national, or club level, to do something for our sport. And this is my 28th World Championships, and my goal is 50. So I set the goals at maybe next 22 years. You will see me around. This is ambitious goal, but let's see. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. I was a bit quick there. But before moving on from Boards of Honor, where we have now handed out the pins given by the IOF Council, I would like to ask, are there any delegates at the General Assembly who would like to speak to this item on the agenda? Yeah, and then I can see Leif Størmer, President of the Norwegian Orienteering Federation.
Dear General Assembly, there are two persons very well presented here today, Leo Halna and Astrid Wolle-Kaas, who has worked countless hours on voluntary basis for IOF. I don't think they need any further presentation, neither as persons or their work, but on behalf of the Baltic countries and the Nordic countries, I will urge the General Assembly to appoint Leo Halna to the position of IOF Honorary President and Astrid Wolle-Kaas to the position of IOF Honorary Member for all their work for IOF during all these years. So I hope the General Assembly can agree on this, and thank you very much. Leif, I'd really like to thank you and the Northern and Baltic countries for making this recommendation. In the statutes, it is allowed for the Council to determine honorary president and honorary members of the IOF, and we had been informed about this in advance, so we're a little bit prepared. But Leo, we would like to propose, and Astrid, we'd like to propose that you become honorary president and honorary member. So I'll leave it back to Sondre for the General Assembly to determine it.
Thank you. And then I see that we have a desire presented by Leif Størmer on behalf of several federations, and also a formal proposal from the IOF Council to accept Astrid and Leo, of course, to appoint Leo Halna to IOF Honorary President and Astrid as IOF Honorary Member. And then I would like to ask the General Assembly whether we can approve this through acclamation or whether there are any objections to that. There are no objections to that, and we will approve it by acclamation.
Just as a small token at this point in time, we've had for the World Championships this year made up new badges. So you're now IOF honorary member. We do have one other council member who has been with us for the past years, and it's Vincent Frey, and I would also like to have you come up, Vincent. We have at least for you, like to show our appreciation to you as well with a small flower here. So thank you very much for your service. I think we've got to the final point, which is the closure of the assembly. But prior to doing that, I'm sure that you all might be interested to hear a few words from me. First of all, I want to thank you very much for your trust. I'm honored and also very humble in serving as your president. And I'd also like to thank you. You've helped us in the council in taking another step towards our strategic goals today. I believe, someone will have to check this for me, but I believe that this is the first time that we have 4 female representatives in council to improve the gender balance. And it's also the first time that we have 3 regional representatives in the council, as far as I understand. Both of those are milestones to help us meeting in our goal of becoming more diverse and meeting the diversity and inclusion goal. So, when I presented myself at the pre-General Assembly, I spoke about matching the map and the terrain as a way of success, not only in orienteering, but also in the implementation of business and management strategy. You have seen today and approved the focus areas and the strategic directions for the next 2-year period. That's our map. I'd like to give you some brief personal reflections only about where I think our map and our terrain is matching, and also where I think that we need to improve the map and maybe also our understanding of the terrain that we're facing and the conditions around us. In many of the areas of the strategy, we're doing well. And I think that this will maybe be a continuation of a few things that Leo and Astrid have said previously. Where we have good control of the map and the landscape. Things like most of our governance issues, we are very well advanced in ethics and transparency, athlete representation, a number of other areas of ethics importance. Our TV and live media productions are very strong from a technical and a presentation standpoint. We've made huge improvements there. Our event quality is improving all the time. Leo mentioned fair play and rules. We've taken some big steps there. We're not at the finish yet on any of these, but we're moving forward. And digitalization and sustainability have we're also quite well advanced and on the right path. But there are some issues which I think are critical to us, where we either need to improve the map with some revisions, or we need to better understand the conditions around us. And these will be areas that I feel that we in the council should first focus upon in the next period, related again to the strategic directions. One that has been mentioned several times during the meeting, improving the external financing for the IOF and improving the sustainability, the financial sustainability, I mean, for the IOF, the members, our organizers, and the athletes. That's one of the key issues that I think we have to face. And it's a key target for us as we go forward. As part of that is the project that we have already started and that we had the working session, which I would like to thank you all for participating so actively in the other day about sustainable event program. I'd like to mention 1/3 as well. There are very few projects that are singularly mentioned in the strategic directions, but there is one, and it's World Orienteering Week. And we in the council have had a discussion. We think that we need to be much better at explaining to you why World Orienteering Week is important to the IOF and why we think it is important to the international orienteering community, so that we can help implement it across the board. So we really need your engagement together with us in World Orienteering Week to improve our performance there. And finally, one area that I think also will need some initial focus is communication strategy and plan based upon our values. We have quite good communications today around our events and our athletes and things that are going on there, but we have many values in the sports, the lifelong values, sport for all, and health aspects that we can also benefit from. And I think that we need to broaden our approach to communication strategy and plan. A few other things that are maybe a little bit lower on my list, but I think that we need to work on more, is building regional and sub-regional activities to become a truly global sport and have sustainable members in all continents. And we also need to, let's say, refine our education activities and our offerings to our members. We're doing many things, but we don't really have a good plan or a clear picture there.
I added some words as well to what I wanted to talk about today because the issue has come up about the Olympic ambition, and I'm sure would be like to know where I feel about that. I'll be honest with you. I believe that at least for foot orienteering, we're still quite a ways from the Olympics. I was, however, disappointed, in fact, earlier when we took it out of the strategic goals and the ambitions that we have for the longer term. Personally, I think it's still very important. And I think that actually our organization has fallen a little bit flat after that. So I think it's important that we have that in the back of our minds and that we work towards it, even though it could be a ways off. Quite honestly, orienteering in the summer at least does not fulfill the criteria that the IOC sets upon us. And I think it's a very honest piece, and I can go into much more detail for those of you who want. I've seen this by working in the international organizations that we have a ways to go, and I can explain that as far as looking at the sports that are awarded for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles and so on. I don't want to give up the dream, but we're a ways away. I do think that there are other ways of going forward, and one of them has been brought up by Sergio from Italy today, which is very important. That is the cooperation with FISU and going through the channel with FISU. I think youth sport is extremely important when the IOC looks at new sports for the Olympics. And therefore, cooperation with schools and with the universities is a very important part, and where we can show our sport and show how attractive it is to youths. I also think that maybe we need to consider the Youth Olympic Games. Maybe that's our path to get in. If you look at the sports that have come into the Winter Olympic Games, like ski mountaineering, they first came in via the Youth Olympic Games. So maybe that's something that we should target instead. But to me, the important thing here and what's important to our strategic directions is that we need to focus on the process. In other words, if we can fulfill our own goals of becoming a truly global sport and a sustainable sport in the long term, then I think that at some point in time, we will be asked to join the Olympics. That's my dream. And I think that's maybe a way that we can look at it. But I do think we need to continue to work towards that. But as I said, I think that we're a ways off. As we will further work on parts of the strategy, we'll continue to consult with you. As Leo said, our working methods are very important to us with transparency, communication, consultation. We'll continue to work with you and the athletes to find alignment with your goals and your ambitions. And of course, we'll never be able to satisfy everyone all the time. So keep that in mind. But hopefully, we'll be able to strengthen and grow our sport together with you. And with those words, I would like to close this General Assembly of the International Orienteering Federation. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes.